So to sum it up here, the CRM holds all the tools to help automate your schedule of values creation, as well as the subsequent progress payment billing. Now all that's really left to do is to see it work. So I'm going to head to that project screen that Brian brought you guys to before. This will probably look familiar to a lot of you guys. And I'm just going to click this SOV tab at the top, kind of have a blank screen here for now. Then I'm going to click Create SOV. From here, we're just going to fill out our information as needed. I'm going to start with my application 0 and fill in each of these fields. So you notice we have a spot for general contractor, owner, architect. This is all your standard progress billing data that goes onto your form. Contract 4 is kind of a broad definition of your scope of work. Typically going to be some kind of flooring with our customers. And then just your billing period and your retainage amount. So from there, I'm just going to click Save, and moving forward here brings us into our actual schedule of values tool. So from here, we have the ability to import items from a bid, import items from a quote. We can add items manually using the Add Line Item tool. And then later on, of course, we could import your change orders and add them to your schedule as well. For the purposes of our example, I'm just going to import some items from one of our quotes here. And getting to this screen, the system will prompt me if I don't want to include any of the items from my quote, but I'm just going to bring in all the items here and click OK. So now we have all of our items added to our SOV, but of course, this is not how we want the document to look when we send it over to our clients. So the next step here is going to be to group these items up. So what I'm going to do is use the Add Group button on the right side here. And I'm just going to add 5 groups right off the bat because I already know I need my 5 groups for this particular project. And I'm essentially going to define these based on their trade. Get one for LVT, VCT, and then a group just for wall base. All right, so these are my bare bones groups. Each of them obviously has a price of 0 assigned to them right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag each line item into the correct group so that the pricing will congregate under that one line for when my customers are looking at this SOV. So this is a bit of a manual process here, and it does take a little time on a larger project like this. I kind of just wanted to show you guys the entire process start to finish because I thought it'd be useful for you to actually see how long this would take. So I am just moving each item line by line here into the groups. And we are talking about on the back end about implementing solutions to automate this part of it a little more. But really, it should never take more than a couple minutes on a very large project. And as you can see on this medium-sized project, we are pretty much done here. And that's going to be the last item. So now our 30 or 40 item proposal has been broken down into just these 5 groups where each of them totaled out under this scheduled value column. And if I open up one of these groups, you could see all these line items embedded underneath. So at this point, we have our scheduled values broken down, and that's the first half of our process done. So this is your schedule of values, your starting point. And we want to use this schedule of values to create our progress payment applications. So that next piece of the puzzle is creating that application number 1. And to do that, I'm going to go up to the top right here and click Create Next. So this screen is going to look very familiar to you guys. This looks just like our application 0 right now. But you can see up here, this is application 1. I'm going to change my billing period based on the new month that I'm in. And now I can actually start billing. So there's a few ways to do billing here. Essentially, you can do it manually, or you can use our automatic process for that. So just to show you how to do it manually, a lot of our customers are wanting to just manually type in percentages for each of their items as they complete them. So for example, let's say for this item down here, carpet install, we know we're 100% complete with this. I can go over to the percent complete column, click in here, and just type in 100. When I do that, it automatically calculates the price based on the data that's here. And the cooler part is it actually calculates the pricing on the group itself. So that 100% of that carpet labor item translated into 12% of my entire carpet group. So you could see all that reflected there, where your customer would just be looking at this grouping here and not the line-by-line breakdown. So that is the manual method. Now for more of an automatic solution, as I mentioned before, you can bring in your purchase orders and work orders, and the system will use those quantities to track your progress. So just to start here, I'm going to bring in a purchase order. This PO number 125 for 12,500. And as soon as I bring that in, you can see two of our groups have been affected here. So my carpet group is at 4.5% complete, and my LVT group is at 40%. And if I open one of these up, it looks like, okay, so my carpet adhesive item, I purchased 100% of that. And my CPT1 Shaw looks like I purchased about 50%, which translated to my 4.5 for the whole group. And looking down towards the LVT, we'll see something similar. One more cool thing about this, guys, is a lot of the times you'll hand this schedule or payment application to a GC, and then on bigger projects, government projects, union, they'll want to see some kind of backup for where you got these numbers, right? So we make that very easy within our system. If you open up this LVT group here, and I have this little eye icon in this line, this LVT adhesive line. If I click on this, this will actually list the purchase order that's responsible for bringing in this data. So now I know purchase order 125 is where I got that. And if your GC does ask for source documents on all of this information, that stuff is very within reach. So that's essentially one payment application done based on a purchase order. In this scenario, we are just starting a job. We purchased our Shaw material, and now we are going to move on to our next month here and import a work order. So just like we did last time, I'm going to go up here to this create next button in the top right. Now you can see we are going to be on application number 2. That period is going to be in July. And here we are right where we left it on our application number 1. And I'm going to go through the same process here and just instead choose a work order. So I'm going to bring in this work order 76579 for 7,700. And when I bring that in, you can see 3 of my groups were affected. Looks like my carpet went up to 20%, my LVT is at 54, and my wall base came into the game at 32% with that work order being introduced. So this is kind of my ending point for my second application, which is, it's very simple. If you use the automated process, you already put in this work, right? You already built this purchase order. You already built this work order. So using that time you previously put in to automatically fill out this SOV is a big time saver. So now you guys have kind of seen the back end side and the back end process here. I want to show you really quick what your customer is going to be looking at. So to do that, I'm going to click this preview button. And that brings you to your client-facing payment application. So this form will look very familiar to a lot of you guys. This first page is essentially a summary. The summary is based entirely off of those 2 payment applications that we just made. And if we did add any change orders, they would be added at the bottom of this summary as well. And scrolling down to our second page here, our continuation sheet, this is simply your line-by-line schedule. And this is going to exactly reflect what was made on our second payment application. So this is all, very, very familiar. This is very close to the industry standard here. And then from here, you also have the ability to instantly email it to your clients. And you can also create an invoice with just one button, which will, bring all this information into an invoice to send over to your accounting team. So just one more thing I'd want to show you at this point, guys. And for that, I'm going to go back into the project. But getting back into this project here, now we're on our SOV screen once again, but it is no longer blank, right? We have 3 lines here. We have our application 0, our schedule of values. We have a line for our first application and for our second. So those are all summarized right here. And if I want to enter one of those documents, I simply click on that line and we're right back into our SOV edit screen. That's all I really have for you guys today. We would definitely love to get your feedback on the schedule of values feature or any others. So please feel free to let us know what you're looking for in the comments below, or check out the description and set up a consultation or live demo with us. Thanks for watching our video on schedule values and progress payments.